This is INCRadio, DZEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
From the Pacific to Atlantic, anytime and wherever you are, join us.
You are watching, listening, and streaming on INCRadio.
Watching, listening, and streaming on INCRadio. INCRadio Canada. Join us. Join us, join us, join us. INCRadio Canada. Join us.
Hello. Ayan, nauna ako, Kuya Tex. Sorry naman. Hello to all of our viewers and listeners of INC Radio Canada. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our viewers and listeners. Welcome po to our show. It is another fun and sunny afternoon here in the District of British Columbia. And of course, we are now broadcasting live from Canada Satellite Studio, INC Radio, changing lives through God's words. Hello po to all of our viewers and listeners. Of course, my name is Sister Kathleen Ga. I am from Squamish Group Worship Service here in the District of British Columbia. And of course, we are also joined by a beautiful sister here, my co-host, Sister Eliza. Hello, Ate. How are you?
Hi, Kat. How are you doing? Looks you bright from vacation. Europe. I don't pronounce your last name as Gao, but Ga. Okay, that's good.
That's what, according to my husband, that's how I'm supposed to pronounce my last.
Good to know.
I think if you're from the Philippines, it's supposed to be Gao, but then if you're
Because
from
we're in
Canada,
Canada, we say Ga. Okay.
Ga. Yes, Ate.
Hi, good evening, good afternoon to all our televiewers currently listening and watching here on INC Radio Canada. My name is Sister Eliza May Asa, and I'm from the local of East Vancouver District of British Columbia. Thank you, Kath.
Ayan, thank you so much, Ate Eliza. Of course, we also are joined by a beautiful sister, Sister Mara. Hello.
Hello po, Ate Kath. Thank you po. Yes po, my name is Sister Mara Vandervoort. I am from the Group Worship Service of Chilliwack here in the District of British Columbia. Thank you po.
Ayan, thank you, Sister Mara. And we are also joined from a neighboring province here. Hello, Sister Zaira.
Hello to everyone, and thank you, Ate Kath. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone watching INC Radio Canada. I am Sister Zaira from the local congregation of Eastwood in the District of Edmonton. Before I give it back to Ate Kath, just a quick greeting to our District Minister, Brother Rolando Gaviola, and our CFO Advisor, Brother Brian Justin Takneng. Thank you, Ate Kath.
Hello, ayan. Hello to our also, before we introduce our topic for you tonight or this afternoon, we would also like to acknowledge our district minister here in the District of British Columbia, Brother Glendo H. Paitan, our assistant district supervising minister, Brother Romeo Maglaya, our CFO or Christian Family Organization overseer, Brother Renel Romero, and our district multimedia advisors, advisor brother Brian Bellarmino. Ayan. Hello po to all of our other all our district staff as well. So, Ate Liza, so ano ba ang topic natin for tonight? So our topic for tonight, last week we talked about what are the things that keep us inspired. Ate, what are the things that keeps you inspired ba? Maybe
Yeah,
not things, or maybe like maybe family or people.
yeah, definitely family and our duty inside the church. How
Ayan.
about you, Kat? How about you, Kat? What keeps
Definitely my family.
your
Family that they keep me inspired. Of course, what are the other things? Our duties. You mentioned it na. Ano pa ba? Ano pang hahanapin? So,
foods,
that's
right?
what we talked about last week. So, some of us and some of our listeners and viewers, for this week, it's very timely. Well, since September just started, so for our viewers and listeners in the Philippines, maybe their school started a little bit earlier, but here in Canada, it started in September. So some of them started going to school recently, might be looking for ways to improve their studying tips. At Eliza, do you still go to school?
I'm currently still in my prerequisite to LPN program. I'm not full-time student, but a little.
So
How about
you're
you,
still
Kat?
studying?
Yeah, studying, but not full-time. But
Yeah.
maybe later I can share some studying tips on our generation. It was like 10 years, decades ago. Most of our guests and panelists are young, so
I know. I think there will be that differences on how we study. I know to our live chat po viewers, if you have any studying tips, please give and put them down in the comment section. I know I struggled a lot in how what are the tips that I actually can share. So many of us might be experiencing and have experiences in studying. All of us have, gone to school. Please give some tips and insights on your own studying habits, and that some of our listeners and viewers, especially the youth, can also use as their own. So let's go ahead on our discussion, Sister Eliza. But before that, we'd actually like to mention who have joined us in our live chat. We have Sister Zenaida Noviceros. Hello, INC Radio Canada. Greetings from Midtown Toronto, District of Greater Toronto. Watching here from a function hall. Ayan. Hello po, Tita Zenaida. We also have Ranilo Zaira Solis. Oh, is that your dad? Oh, that's Zaira. I did not know that's your first name. um, Brother Mario Oka, who has always been supportive of INC Radio. Hello po from the Philippines and from the local of Brixtonville, District of Caloocan North. We also have Sister Jeannie Ocampo, and then we have also Brother Christian Ilga, my husband there. Hello po to all of the brethren. We also have Sister Hazel Bunag. Hello to my friend there. Greetings from IC Radio. And yes, I am fresh from vacation. Greetings from Calgary, Canada. We have Sister Shell, Mara's mom. Hello po to Sister Shell. Greetings from Chilliwack Group Worship Service. Ayan. So Brother Christian said, studying tips daw, but he said, study first before love life. Anyway, hello, Ate Eliza. So let's go on and ask our youth members. Um,
yes, that's a good no advice from Christian. Study first before anything else, right? So, with our
yes.
discussion for this evening, I have a question for our students. I don't remember when I was still studying, studying. The most challenging na I encountered is actually right now are using like the social medias, like
Mm.
many distractions or yeah, how about you, Kat? What are the distractions that
I remember when I was studying, I don't want to mention it, but I think it was just the boom of social media.
uh
I'm in that point when, oh wow, this is so new to me, everything is new. So I was just like, this is part of it. Yeah, that's my major distraction as well. And sometimes when the information is too overwhelming, you just don't want to study, diba?
That's true.
And that's one of the difficult things as a student, when you have, especially when you're a university or a college student.
Mm.
There are just way too many information to process, especially, and all of your exams are back to back, and I think that's a difficult time. But let's ask them.
Okay, yeah. I want to ask Sister Mara first. So, Mara, can you share us about your usual challenges that you encounter during school season?
Yes po, Ate Lisa, thank you po. So, after, yes po, there's many different challenges that everyone may face. Everyone has their own difficulties. But my probably most difficulty is when I get frustrated po, I really just want to give up, which is I always ask my mom for help when I am like at a point of like giving up, be like, I don't understand this anymore. I just want to give up. But she always reminds me to remain prayerful to our Almighty God if I don't understand something and to never give up with it.
Yeah, that's thank you for sharing that advice, Sister Mara. That is like, most important thing, because sometimes we can't control things like, like difficult topic or homeworks, and sometimes we feel frustrated. Yeah, we need help and guidance from our Almighty God. Thank you, my Sister Mara. And how about Sister Zaira? Can you share po some of your challenges that we have encountered during school season?
I think my biggest would have to with juggling my day-to-day life, doing my assignments, having to study for my exams on the same time, and then having to work or having just like a social life. But I stress out so much of like which one do I need to do first. From how I've learned is that I just gotta take it one step at a time, do the thing that I need to do, like what's more important, and then deal with the others later. But I think that's still a challenge now, especially coming from my break and then going back into school. It's still very stressful, especially this season. It's actually midterm season for a lot of college and university students here in Canada. So it's it's a really big challenge for a lot of us too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Ate Zara, can I ask a question? What course are you taking right now?
I am currently doing business law and economics po.
Oh, no
I'm in
wonder.
my third year, so
Oh,
this is
law.
when I'm
Okay, business law.
yeah.
Okay.
This is when I'm doing a lot more memorizations.
All the law.
Yeah.
And that. Oh, that's difficult actually, right? Yeah, I understand. You were overwhelmed with all the, and I like how you mentioned a while ago, like you have to kind of write down which should I do first, which should I prioritize first, and like list down, right? So thank you so much, Ati Zaira. And for the maybe we can ask also Ate Jeng. Is Ate Jeng also studying right now? Ate Jeng is our producer.
I was supposed to, but since COVID, I found it hard to concentrate online. I'm more into like the traditional. I want to see the professor in front of me.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's hard to concentrate when you're online and just I don't know. It's just hard.
Yeah, that is true. Like for example, if you're sitting in your couch and you can see like a food in the kitchen, you can just easily turn on the camera. Like, wait, I'm just gonna grab my snacks, and then you already miss the important lesson that your teacher, right? And also another thing that I noticed during online, it's yeah, like what you mentioned is easily like you can easily distracted with the social medias. But that is actually can goes to our two. I mean, second question, like how do you keep your focus and avoid distractions while studying, Kat?
Ako pala yung tinatanong. So how do we keep our focus? Um, yeah, it's difficult. When I was in studying, and traditionally, I love going to classroom and being engaged in different discussions and being able to do hands-on things. I am more of a hands-on learner. Basically, my background is in science, so basically, I wanted to touch um, things, right, and be able to see it in my own eyes, and I remember when I was discussing this to my colleagues who are a bit younger than me, and I asked how they actually study and be able to keep distractions from studying. And I asked on the differences on how we were taught in university and now versus now. Right now, when they were doing chemical reactions, they actually just do it online, and that was during COVID, and that surprised me on how powerful the technology is. But if you are studying online, how do you differentiate, like how do you avoid distraction? Is to me is like you need to keep keep discipline. You have to really set up your focus on what you're learning, otherwise you're not going to learn anything. And that's what I keep struggling as well. And to Zaira as well, I actually uh, took notes about what she was mentioning, is like the prioritization. What do I do first, right? So when we are studying, it's very important then that we know what to study first. What is the most difficult things that you're having trouble with is to understand really the the topic, or the main idea of it. Because if you just memorize it, I find it when I just memorize it, I would forget it. But then when you actually try to understand and learn of basically of the main purpose of that topic, you'll be able to get it and you won't be able to forget it during examinations, right? So discipline is number one. Being disciplined on what you really need to get it done, right, Ate Eliza?
Yeah, that's true. It's so hard to also sometimes like you're not gonna be having all that discipline every day. Like sometimes you get overwhelmed, right?
And our phones, right? We now have settings that do not disturb, do not disturb button on our phones to keep us away. So I would probably suggest that if you're having examinations, is make sure that you tuck away your phones for a minute, or like an hour. Get away from your phone so that you can actually focus on studying. And I like, when I'm studying, I like eating food. So for me, that's not a distraction. I'm not sure, Ate, you said that.
Yeah. Also, like I like drinking coffee while I'm studying, or matcha helps me, stay on focus
Mm-hmm.
for a longer time. And I think having a short break in between will also keep your energy, like, staying focused later on the next lesson that you're going to be studying. I think I remember when I was in elementary, I really have to stay focused because I'm scared about our teacher. That if you don't do your homework or if you fail, like they're gonna really kind of like mention who failed and who did not. So that's actually my motivation and why I stay focused with my study way back before. And also, thank you, Kat. Let's ask Ate Mara. Ate Mara, how to keep focused and avoid distractions during study.
Yes, but thank you, Fatia Lisa. So my favorite like way to keep focus while I'm studying for like say an exam or like a quiz is to like listen to music with like headphones or something, like any music. Like it can be any kind of music you like happy music or like more enthusiastic or just like quieter music. It's just to keep you focused and like staying focused on to one thing that you're doing, which is that's just my main way of staying focused. But
Well, every student have a really unique style on how to stay focused. Thank you, Ate Mara. And let's ask Ate Zaira.
I think you took all of mine for you, and I can't believe
We kind of like
because
summarize
because
all the.
because for me too, I put mine on do not disturb. Actually, during midterm season, I'm 24/7 on do not disturb. So I'm actually pretty hard to contact with a lot of people. And like I try to also remind myself of my future goals. So like, oh, I need to be able to achieve this. And if I'm not focused, if I'm not putting in the work, I might not get to where I want to be. So it gives me that motivation that, okay, we need to set this time, like 3 hours of studying can affect my future. If I don't give time for studying and I don't keep focus, like it's gonna affect me in a greater scale than just giving this amount of time, for the future. But that's just my way of how to not get distracted, is to remind myself that this is my goal and I need to achieve this.
That is actually very true, Ate Zaira. Like I've heard about some podcasts was saying that it according to research, like the effective way to stay focused and really achieve your goal is when you think that you're failing. Like when you're gonna failure is like, oh, I'm gonna get up and I'm an idiot because I don't you don't like the feeling of failure, but it's okay to fail, right? But sometimes that is the motivation that you needed to have some discipline to continue studying. How about Ate Jeng? Ate Jeng, how do you keep yourself focused when studying?
I'm probably a bad example. I'm a procrastinator. Like, I will clean everything before I start studying. And I have a really bad habit that you should not do is I usually do everything like late at night. And I usually have loud music on. I have weird studying habits, but that works for me, right? Um, so, but yeah, I usually strive when there, I'm distracted. Like there's distractions around me. That helps me concentrate more. So, yeah, I'm probably one of those. Like I have different way of studying.
That's actually also good strategy. Like you really have to clean your area so you can think properly and you can like prioritize like which one should I do first, because if your surroundings are messy, you can't even think like where should I start? Like it's messy and you already distracted with your environment. But having a clean environment, it's a good way to start. And I was wondering, Ate, if you do the night before studying, how was your exam the day? How was it?
Oh,
Wondering.
I I actually because I used to have a job while studying,
Mm.
so I finish pretty late at night. So I usually start around 1 a.m., finish around 3 a.m. And I don't know, as long as I sleep before any exams or any like quizzes, I think that helps me retain information more as long as I get enough sleep. It
Mm.
doesn't matter if I study like late at night, but as long as I sleep after and not like do an all nighter, then I I'm always fine the day after.
Yes.
Usually.
Yeah. Having a good sleep, very important to have a good results sa exam, right?
Yeah.
Less like happy. Okay. So number three, Kat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what do you prefer when you're studying? Do you prefer the traditional methods like books in the library or using online resources?
Um, to me, it varies, ate. Because when I was studying before, I am more of a speaker. Basically, I like to keep saying it to myself, so I feel like I am teaching myself. So I cannot study in the library because I fall asleep. So the traditional methods of studying in the library does not work for me. It usually works when I'm alone at my room. And what I do, I have my book with me and then my notes with me. So what I would do is I feel like I'm a professor of my own. So basically I try to teach myself by speaking it. That's how I study. And I don't like using online. Oh well, in my time where it's not really popular to do online sources, like especially when you're writing essays, of course you need to do digital, but for me, that's how I study. So just just what Jang already said, like I think each and individuals have different techniques and methods and strategies on how they prefer to study. What about you, Ate Eliza? How do you prefer to study?
It's actually a good topic because all our listeners and viewers, they might also like they can try a lot of options that they can do, like studying tips. Good thing we have a different style so they can have more options and they can choose which one applies to them, right? When studying. So for my part, like what Kat said, I wish I could do that. Like, talking, like explaining things, because that's also one of the most effective way in learning and retaining all your yet knowledge or the informations from the subject. But for me, I tried that, but okay, so what is the best method? Usually I have to understand really the whole topic. I have to get the overview step by step. Um, and that way, if I understand, in medical, it's so hard because you also have to incorporate the memorization, the connection of one body part to other body parts, and all the patients, etc. But yeah, understanding the whole concepts. Um,
Ate, did you have the skeleton
yeah,
drawing?
we do have that in our lab, but and how many skeletons do you have? 240 something, and muscles included. Like, it's a lot of information. So maybe using this, the outline that your professor provided at the very class, that helps me focus which one should I study, because at the end of the day I want to pass the exam. So I'm trying to identify what are those topics that I needed to stay focused on, because there's a lot of information. So how about to Ate Mara? Ate Mara, for sure, I'm not gonna, I think I know the answer. I'm just kidding. But we don't know, right? Ate Mara.
Yes, Bob. Okay, so one of my preferred method, Bo, would definitely have to be digital notebook, because at school we don't really use books as much because everything is all electronic based notebook. So honestly, Bo, it's kind of, we only have one choice, so it's just the electronics book. And I think it's effective book in a way, but I still miss using like the hard copy books book from when I was in like my first year of high school and my last year of like middle school book. I still miss like the hard copy books for studying, but then now I'm slowly adapting book to like the new ways of technology on using like an iPad or a computer to study book.
Yeah, right. Submitting your homework online, like anything is online. Like when I first came back from studying, I bought this thick anatomy book and then ending up doing all the homework online. I was like, oh, okay, so this is how it works now. So, yeah, thank you, Ate Mara. And how about Ate Zaira?
I actually like doing both. It helps me doing both because for me in class, I just use like my tablet. That's when I take the notes because it's so convenient for me that all of the files, all of the topics are online, and then I'll just go onto another app and just that's where I'm gonna start writing my notes. And then when it's time for me to like study for exam, I rewrite my notes in a notebook, and it helps me because I'm writing it down on my own and rewriting it on my like in my own words, and then reading them out loud to myself. So I'm hearing myself say these information back to myself. So it just helps me a lot. So like I balance both the traditional method and like the newer method, the digital method that we're having today.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, another, so you're using two methods in helping you retaining all the informations that you have to remember from your from the subject or from the topic that you have learned. How about Ate Jeng? I was wondering because Ate Jeng always share us unique ways of studying tips.
Oh no, I cannot study digitally. Not at all.
We're old school.
Yeah,
I used to have like 8 a.m. classes and I fall asleep every time. I think like studying online is never for me. I know there's a lot of good resources out there, but take I still need to take notes every time. Like uh, Sister Zaira said, I always redo my notes the day before the exam. Like put it on like a piece of paper, just write down all the important notes. Then that helps me to memorize for the day after. So, but yeah, always traditional methods for me. which is hard nowadays.
It is very hard. Actually, at these, I actually remember I went back to for a certificate just last year. All of my classmates are like a lot younger than me, and they're all using iPad, and I was like, oh, I'm still using notebook. I'm like, am I in the right class? I'm still using notebook. So I remember I was using I have my notebook, and then I used that for two consecutive classes. And then I realized, okay, I'm gonna try computer typing it. And I was like, this is a lot faster. But then I remember I'm still used to like having to write it down so I can remember it, right? So we need to be, I know, I think we need to be flexible now and be able to adapt. That's what I like Sister Zaira. She's able to be flexible at both. She
Yeah.
can do traditional and notes, but just what Sister Jeng said, there's a lot of resources now and tools that can allow us to be, to help us find the specific way on how we can study. So that's very smart.
Very smart.
Now,
Like,
yeah, there's a lot of, we have books, iPads. I know there are a lot of apps as well that can help us be more productive and effective study
mhm.
and more effective in our studying. So, yeah.
So thank you so much, ladies. And we'll go to our last question for our part one discussion. So, how will you schedule your study time, Kat? I always go with Kat.
I know. I don't know why. How will you schedule your study time? When I was well, here in Canada, I think it's very common that you have part-time job while you're studying. When I was in high school, I actually have a part-time job that I do over the weekend, and then I study like the whole week. And then basically when I was university, I was like, I just wanted to focus. I don't want to work. So that's what I did. So it was very effective for me. So when I'm studying, I can just like schedule anytime. But for others, like maybe Sister Jang, like she said, you were working. For me, I could just schedule anytime. But now that I'm working, I have to really schedule. Like when I went back to my certificate, I have to really schedule a study time. To me, it works for me when I sleep and then I wake up early. So what I would do, I would sleep at 9 p.m. and I would wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning. And then I would have a bulk studying time from 4 a.m. to like 7 a.m. For me, that works perfect for me. Even when I was in university ate, like my peakest memorization is always that time. I don't know why.
I think it's because less distraction early in the morning, right? Very quiet. Like, everyone is sleeping and you're just studying. Like, no one is going to call you. No one is like, no one is going to disturb you. Some
Yes.
people really find it effective studying in the morning because no distraction. And then sometimes you said like you have to write a schedule, but once your friends starting to calling you like, oh, let's go out, let's go group study. Okay, that's how it started. Like how the bigger, like the distractions on our studying. Thank you so much, Kat. How about Ate Mara?
Yes po. Thank you po, Ate Lisa. I don't really like schedule po my studying time po because I'm still in high school po and it's only my second year. But every year po, the exams get harder and harder and they get longer and bigger po. So I think it's time po for me to start thinking of scheduling my study times po and structuring them out based on what I want to study with first po, because as we know po, as high school students, there's final exams, and in university po, there's final exams, and those are probably the most nerve-wracking times for any students po, is exams, because you're like, okay, I need to get a really good grade on this to have a good future. But then if you stress more on it po, then it gets really hard and you just really are just like, everything is all in like one ball po, and then it's like it's hard to break that ball, right po. So my schedule time is probably po more like after my sports po or before my sports, because I'm like student athletes po, is like we study throughout the day and then we have a sport after school po, which is now my sport is only like twice a week po, so I have more time to study in between those days, and I'm not having to study after school po, which is nice because then the like your brain focuses better po throughout the day more than late at night po. So I think study time wise po is during the day for me after school. So like around late afternoonish po.
Oh, you also mean after the sports, right? After your exercise, like trying to
Yes
wake up
po.
yourself. And
Yes po.
that's also a good point, Mara. Thank you for sharing. Like, prioritizing, like, or making a schedule, making a structure will also reduce your stress. Because if you study 2 days before the exam, that's how the burnout or stress comes out, right? Anxiety is like, oh, already exam, and I'm still on this topic. So that's a very good advice. Thank you so much, Ate Mara. And about Ate Zaira?
Because I'm also a working student right now. Like what Ate Kath said, like it's very common. I do also have a part-time, but for me, when I'm not doing it, like not being in the classroom, doing my duty or at work, I just use that time to, or like even be with my friends. I use that time to study, but I usually study at night, like right before I sleep, and then I give up, and so it's like, and I just tell myself, I'm tired, I'm gonna study in the morning. So I end up studying in the morning. Similar to what Ate Kathleen is like wake up really early in the morning and just have like a big study session. And that's what I try to do too. And I kind of understand why it's um you retain a lot more knowledge in the morning because I feel like you're more refreshed, and then like again there's no distraction, so you're just focused, and then you just get lost track. You get lost track in time. So like that's just how I study. I don't really have a big study method, but that's what I'm seeing my patterns are.
Yes, thank you so much, Ate Zaira. That's a good point too, right? Being a working student, sometimes if you study late in the evening, your energy was already gone. Like you ended up just going to bed. Especially if you see your bed, right? If your table is just right next to your bed and your bed is like inviting you, just go to sleep. Let's do tomorrow. Yeah, but actually, yeah. And then morning, you're gonna like discipline waking up, and then start studying. Thank you so much, Ate Zara. And how about Ate Jeng?
Um, like I said before, I always study early, like 1 a.m. My study time is 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. because that's, I don't know, after work, usually I don't feel that tired. I don't know why, but when I was in college, I don't feel that tired around that time. So I just study while my mind is still awake. And then once it hits 3 o'clock, it's time for me to sleep. So I sleep and then like wake up at the usual time and go to school. And yeah, that's usually my study habits before.
What time do you usually wake up in the morning after you study 3 in the morning, Ate Jeng?
It depends what time my class starts. I used to have an 8 a.m. class, but like I said, it's online, and that was a bad idea because whatever I do, even with coffee, I will still sleep somehow. I don't know why, but I still passed that class, so it's okay.
Yeah, good job. Smart. Like, yeah, it's also like how your body, like your routine of your body, right? Like, if you're used into studying in the whatever works for you, studying in the more early in the morning or in the evening, whichever helps an effective way in studying, that would really help us in succeeding with our studies. Right, Kat?
Yes, Ate Eliza. So we'll cut off our discussion. I know there are some of other studying and tips and habits from our panelists here, but we'll have a game first. So why don't we have Sister Mara do the talking for us here for our icebreaker?
Yes po. Thank you po, Ate Kath. Alright po, to all of our viewers and listeners here on INC Radio Canada, we will be doing an icebreaker game discussion. The title of our icebreaker game discussion will be Will You or Will You Not? Tech, could you please play the slide, please, po? Thank you, po. Alright po, would you or would you not? Would you be able to study in these circumstances? Can I call on Sister Zaira po? All right, but would you or would you not study in these circumstances? Could we go to the next slide, Bo? Would you study in a coffee shop or would you not study in a coffee shop?
I would most definitely study in a coffee shop. That is actually one of my top two places to study with my friends is studying at a coffee shop. But
Yes,
it might not be as effective at times, but it's still a good place to study.
do you like the coffee shop music type or like the loud like quiet voices of people in studying in coffee shops or having small meetings in coffee shops? Like what's your
Um,
main favorite thing?
I tuned out the music and I end up talking with my friends.
Okay.
So so the sound
So
I'm
it's more
hearing
like a
is very
social study.
it's
I
yeah, more social
coffee date,
study.
coffee
I
date
mean,
out with friends.
Coffee date, but
uh,
we do get some studying done po
Wow.
before we talk.
at least there's some studying that happens, because that's the main goal there. Ate Eliza, would you or would you not study in a coffee shop?
I honestly like amaze all the students like staying focused in the cafe because I tried that one time, but I get distracted opening the door. Someone is calling the name, getting the coffee. I was like trying to memorize. Like, okay, wait. I honestly got distracted. I tried that because I was like my all my classmates, they were young. I don't know, maybe it's the generation gap is what they call because it really doesn't fit me. Doesn't really work with me. I tried that, but yeah, I'm no, I tried it, but it doesn't work for me.
Doesn't work, but Ate Kat, did you ever study in a coffee shop? But would you or would you not?
I think I would agree with Sister Eliza. I could not study. It's nice. Okay, so we get together in a coffee shop, but then we'll end up somewhere else because we all are distracted in the coffee shop. So I don't think I could. So no for me.
No, but okay, but we'll go to our next. Would you or would you not slide, Bo? Would you study in an online group study session? Would you or would you not? Ate Jang, would you study in an online group study session?
I don't think so. I'll be the distraction. So yeah, no, no for me.
Sister Zyra, would you study in an online group study session?
No, I agree with Ate Jang. I think I will also be the distraction. I get distracted easily around me, so they'll see me fiddling with something.
Ate Elisa, would you study on an online study session?
No, no, no.
No.
Um,
Ate Kath, what back in like you and Ate Elisa's generation, did you guys ever have online study sessions?
No.
what the question is like we are like another.
Unfortunately, Sister Mara, we never had online group study session. Back in our days, our group study sessions are all in person.
Yeah, our teacher will group us in the classroom and choose how do you call that, Kat? Like they're gonna choose each group and then we're gonna present it to our teacher on the same time, same class. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's hard. Eh?
It is hard, yeah.
On
So I think during COVID, that's very common, right? So I think that type of um, that type of method was developed during the COVID because everyone else is online. So unfortunately, Mara, no,
Definitely.
we can move on.
Kuya Tech, please show the next slide, Bo. Studying in the library. Ate Eliza, would you or would you not study in a library?
I love studying in the library. That's the best place for me to study. If I can see all the students studying, it motivates me to study, and it's very quiet. Yeah, I love studying in the library.
Sister Zyra, would you or would you not study in a library?
100%. I'd love studying in a library. That's my number one go-to all the time. Has to be the library.
That's good. For Ate Jeng, would you study in a library?
For me, no. I would sleep in a library. Yeah, it's for me. I need loud music. Like I need distractions for me to concentrate. So, yeah, for me, library is a no.
Ate Kath, would you study in the library or would you not po?
So if I wanted to catch some sleep during studying, I would go to the library. So I would not go study in the library, but I would sleep in the library. So to all of the students, it's up to you on how you study. But for me, that works. We have a brother here, Sister Mara, brother Fred from Great Lakes District, local of Bloomingdale. He mentioned that he study always to stay ahead and always be able to study. So and then for him, he just say we just do it. We just study. We just have to.
Yeah,
Yes, po.
that's the best strategy. Just
That's
do
the
it.
best
Yes.
strategy. You just have to do it, right?
Just study anywhere po and just get it done po.
Yes,
The
correct.
hardest part is the starting point of the study.
Yes po.
Yeah, so we're almost at the end of our discussion, Sister Mar. So thank you so much for that. We
Thank you
really
po.
enjoyed answering the questions. But here, since we're almost at the end of our show, we'll ask naman, we already have mentioned our preferences. We have Sister Jang, who had very unique way of studying loud. We have Sister Zaira, who does both. We have Sister Mara, mostly digital. Sister Eliza and I kind of mostly share into a traditional way, not in a not in a digital way. We'll ask Sister Zaira naman. So, how do you manage? You've mentioned earlier when you're managing both of working and studying and life work balance. How do you manage burnout or stress, and what do you do to prevent it?
Oh, so right now I've been trying different methods because in the past 2 years of university, I'd be burnt out like in my first ever midterm because I'd be stressing, I'd be like always like I'd be working, like I didn't have time for myself, but this year it's a bit more relaxed. And then I've been like asking for help from others on what I can do and maybe to help me relieve my stress and just be with the people that makes me happy and that like I can get the stress away. And of course, I always the number one thing that does keep my stress away is when I perform my duties. So like I always that's when I'm never burnt out is when I'm performing, especially in choir, being up in that choir loft singing, like it takes my stress away. So that's the like that's the ways that I don't feel like I'm being burnt out this year. So this year I've already done 2 midterms and I'm still ready to continue, and like I feel like I'm thriving in university right now. So yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that's a very good study habits, and thank you for sharing, Sister Zaire. And as members of the Church of Christ, we are taught that we need to have that faith, of course, in the Lord our God to be able to help us to go through, especially with our studies. And that's what we are being taught by the church administration, is to be able to be always lean into our God and be able to pray. And as well as if you are going through burnouts or stress, that we ask our Lord God for some guidance and help so that we can go through. What about you, Sister Mara? Sister Mara, you're going through a higher education now, and then you're seeing that changes when you were younger. You're getting more work. How do you manage your studying habits, and how do you think your studying habits affect your current day-to-day activities at school and your academics and your other curriculums such as dancing? You do dancing as well, right? So
Yes
how do
po.
you manage it?
So this year, po, I'm actually trying a new sport, which is volleyball, po, and I'm really happy with it, po. It keeps me busy and it's very fun, po. But my ways, po, of making sure I'm like keeping on track and staying focused, and how does my sport affect like my curricular sport is I always try to make sure, po, there's an even balance between everything that I have to do every day, po, and I'm not just focusing on one thing, but like I need to do school, I need to do my sport, but mainly, po, out of all of those, I need to focus on all of my duties to Almighty God, po. Yes, po.
Nice. Yeah, that's very good example to the youth members here, the Church of Christ. Do not forget whenever, if you're going through academics, curriculars, or different types of activities, do not forget to attend worship service, and of course, attend to our duties, right, in the Church of Christ. And that helps us have that um, focus and be able to do that. So unfortunately, we're not having so much time anymore, and we had an amazing discussion regarding studying habits, and just some takeaways here. We all have different helpful tips on how to study. It could be, for our tips here, we definitely mentioned a lot of different types of unique methods for you to study smarter. One of the things is we need to get rid of distractions. Of course, that includes our phone. And if technology is nearby, just what Sister Zaira has mentioned, it's about, taking that do not disturb so that we can stay focused. As what Sister Mara said, she's doing a lot of different activities as well to keep her break that um, stress, taking exercise breaks. Um, for us, we have different types of techniques and methods, such as changing our environment. We just don't study in some other one place. We try to find a space that works for us is the most important thing, and finding the method that works better for us. Will help us retain that knowledge for the future. And of course, as members of the Church of Christ, it is also important that we incorporate prayer in our studying, and that's our takeaway here. And do not be able to um, leave out, God in the middle of everything that is happening in us. So yeah, so that's it for our discussion. But now we're gonna go on to our next segment here, which is French 101. Kuya Tech, would you be able to play our next segment, French 101?
Bonjour les amis et bienvenue to French 101 with Brother Gerard Novasteros Abenhi from the locale of Midtown Toronto, District of Greater Toronto. For the words for today, we have family, which is famille, friends, which is amis, hobby, which is passe-temps, winter, hiver, and teacher, which is professeur. And here are the words in a sentence. For family, I want to spend more time with my family. Je veux passer plus de temps avec ma famille. For friends, my friends are my support system. Mes amis sont mon système de soutien. For hobby, my favorite winter hobby is to go tobogganing. Mon passe-temps hivernal préféré est la luge. For winter, the sky is a hazy shade of winter. Le ciel est une ombre brumeuse d'hiver. And lastly, for teacher, our teacher looks very young. Notre professeur a l'air très jeune. C'est tout pour la French 101 aujourd'hui. See you next time on French 101 with the CW West members. Au revoir!
Ayun, bonjour. Do you remember anything, Ate Eliza?
No.
Sister Mara can speak French for us, I think, right, Sister Mara?
Yes, po, Tika.
So, what is your final takeaway, Sister Mara, for this topic in French, if you can share?
One of my favorite takeaways from this segment we did today, but was that remaining prayerful to our Almighty God if we're ever in need of help in our studies, especially, or anytime in our day-to-day life. But
Ayan. What about in French?
On the spot po. Opo.
It's okay.
I can po do a little bit po. Une de mes préférées choses que j'ai pris d'aujourd'hui de cet topic est que j'ai besoin d'être prayerful toujours à notre Dieu si j'en ai besoin d'aide à tout le temps dans ma vie.
Ayan. Ayan, ang galing. Sana naintindihan natin yan. But Sister Mara already did the English translation earlier. So we're gonna do quickly our CFO in action po, Kuya Tech, if you may. Ayan. So our CFO in action po, this is where we actually mention for our upcoming activities. So from the District of British Columbia, Sister Eliza, if you can mention our activities here in our district po. Ayan, you're muted, ate, so if you can unmute yourself.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God. Yeah, so here in our district of British Columbia, tomorrow we will be having a film showing Guerrero Tres at Burnaby Chapel, 5 p.m. So hope everyone po gonna watch. I think I watched the Guerrero Part 1. It was a very nice movie. I was crying. But yeah, okay. So the next activity is on Monday, bowling unity games at Revs Bowling Lohid Highway, 1 p.m.
Ayan, thank you, sister. So we invite all of our brethren here po from the District of British Columbia to join us. What about in Edmonton, Sister Zaira?
So right now we have our Guerrero Chess showing. It's gonna be starting from October 14th to the 20th. It will be different for every local congregation in Edmonton. In the Eastwood, we will have it on October 15 at 7 p.m. at the Chapel's Function Hall. And also for our locale, we're actually having our 18th anniversary, which will be on October 27.
Ayan, happy anniversary to your local congregation, Sister Zaira, and to our Catching Up with Canada, Kuya Tech.
Welcome back to Catching Up with Canada. Let's see what our brethren have been up to this week and what other activities we can expect.
Ayan, Sister Zaira, what is your activity there in Edmonton, please?
So in the District of Edmonton, we actually have two special gatherings. One will be on Friday, October 18 at 7:30 p.m. in the Eastwood Chapel. This is dedicated to our Binhi and Kadiwa organization. And then our second one is for our Christian Brotherhood International, which is CBI, and our District Multimedia DMM will be on Sunday, October 20th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the Wellington Chapel.
Ayan. Sister Eliza, what about in District of British Columbia?
Yes, in our district of British Columbia, we would like to invite po for our televiewers who is not yet member inside the church on our EVM Music Evangelical Mission on October 20th at Massey Theater, 6 in the evening. There will be a lot of choir performing on that evening po.
Yeah, and we're very excited po from our district that we will be able to have another evangelical mission in our district. So unfortunately, that's the end of our show. We would like to thank all of our viewers and listeners who have joined us in our discussion today and our topic. Before we end of our show, here a special acknowledgement po to our executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, and to our Christian Family Organization coordinator po, Brother Angelo Eranio Manalo, for everything that you do for all of us po, for your love and concern. We appreciate them po. Thank you po so much, and we love you all. And thank you for tuning in to INC Radio Canada, Sister Mara.
Merci d'avoir écouté INC Radio Canada. Thank you po.
Thank you po. Bye, everyone.
noon pa man